Guys, thanks very much for checking out today's video. My name is Andy Carter, and in today's video I'm talking about 3 woods, the difference between one teed up and one being hit off the deck. And the difference in the type of swing as well. These are 2 very different shots. One I would say is extremely high risk, which is obviously the ball that's sat into the ground, and the ball that's off the tee is a shot that you can use as a driver replacement, short par 4, long par 3, whatever it's going to be. So it might be a more used shot from off the tee. Also, nowadays we have different types of 3-wood heads, so it's very important that you choose the type of head that's going to be representative of how you're going to use it on the golf course. So you can get some shallow headed 3 woods where you wouldn't use it too much off the tee, or you get these slightly deeper headed 3 woods so you'd use it more off the tee and you'd try and avoid using it off the ground. So first of all, tee height with this club is going to be just ever so slightly above the ground, and I actually use the thickness of my fingers. So when I put the club in, when I put the tee in, I just use the thickness of my fingers, and that is usually about right. I'm trying to make sure a little bit of the ball is just over the top of the 3-wood head. I nearly said putter then. And I'm going to make sure that I'm able to then hit up on the ball. I actually don't want to compress and hit down on the golf ball like I'm going to show you in a second with the ball off the ground. So I'm going to put the ball position not quite as far forward as I would do with my driver, just a little bit further back. So as a result of this, my head position now is going to be slightly behind the ball. So and with the ball slightly teed up, I do want to try and encourage an angle of attack that's not massively on the up, but I would say around neutral to 1 degree up. So I do want to try and help launch this ball up into the air. Now, because the ball is not sat into the ground like it would be on the fairway, I've got a little bit of space to work with. This is exactly how I want to be approaching this. So I'm going to play this very similar to how I would play my driver. So forward in my stance, my head slightly behind the 3-wood head, so that means my spine angle is slightly tilted towards the right hand side, and I'm going to just play my normal kind of long club driver style swing so I can hit up on the ball. Now, if I would actually have aimed, I could have hit the fairway, but instead, where are you going? I kind of aimed more towards the houses. Not ideal. So make sure you actually aim as well. So you maybe wouldn't be talking quite as much as what I'd be talking if you were on the golf course. So let's go through that again. That was not a great routine. So there's bunkers down the left hand side. They are going to be my line. The tee, you can see the tee height relative to the 3-wood head. Ball position just slightly forward. Spine angle slightly back. There we go. Nice high 3-wood shot, and I've got obviously shorter distance to what I would expect with my driver, and I've hit it out of the middle. Now, we're going to be talking about this shot off the ground, one of the hardest shots in golf. Why? It's the second longest club in the bag. It's the second biggest head in the bag. It's the second lowest loft in the bag. So everything about hitting this club is difficult enough off the tee, made even more difficult off the ground. It very much depends on how your swing path is as to whether you get on with this club. There's a lot of players that will be relatively steep and can make decent contact on the ball because they're able to hit down on the ball. I can almost get 100% guarantee you're not optimizing your distance, but you're hitting a half decent strike. Golfers that swing it a little bit flatter are really going to struggle with a 3-wood because the club's so long, it comes in so shallow, very, very easy to top the ball with a 3-wood. So your swing path very much depends on whether you actually suit this. But what we'll be looking for now with this type of shot is more of a descending blow. We want to be trying to hit down on the ball. So I want to always take a little bit of ground. I'd rather you hit down on the ball, maybe spun it up in the air and didn't get a great distance out of it, than topped it. It's a better bad shot. So what the setup changes I'm going to make with this, I'm not going to put it as far forward in my stance. I'm going to put it very much like a hybrid. I'm literally playing this like a hybrid shot. So everything I say about this club, it would be very much representative to how you play your hybrid. So I've got the ball position just further back than where it started with the tee. I've got my weight distribution with my lower body just into my left side because strike is always the most important, but even more so now. And then as I start to swing up to the top of the back, so I'm going to make sure I'm driving forward. So I'm not trying to keep my head and my spine angle to the right of the ball on this one. I'm trying to almost get my spine angle and my head to almost kind of catch up the ball. I want to be a little bit more over the top of the ball. I want to make sure I can kind of compress the ball a little bit more than I would do with my 3-wood off the tee. So much, as you'd expect, a much lower ball flight, 'cause I'm not launching it up into the air. I got a little bit of ground, so I got ball, then ground, so the strike was really, really nice. One of the things you need with this type of club though is you need speed. If you don't have enough speed, you won't get the ball airborne. That was a really nice strike, but had I had a lot less speed through the ball, it wouldn't have gone very high. So for someone like me, in the way I'm using it, I don't mind hitting this club because I know I have a lot of speed, so I can almost trap the club against the ball, against the ground, and I create the backspin, I create the height through speed. There are too many golfers out there that don't have the speed to get the elevation on a 3-wood off the ground. That's why you tend to drop down to more like a hybrid or a 7-wood, which is exactly the right thing to be doing, purely dependent on your swing speed. So if you have got the swing speed, you can really start to muscle through and power through the impact area and just focus on your angles. If you don't have the speed and you're trying to generate height with this type of club, you will probably top it or hit the ground before the ball, because your natural instincts to almost try and help the ball up in the air. So speed with this club is absolutely vital. If you don't have speed, please change the club. So ball position, again, not quite as far forward as a driver, pretty much where I've got the hybrid position. I like to sit my left hip over my left foot a little bit more, and as I come into the ball, I'm going to make sure I can compress the ball with my upper body. Not a bad shot, a little bit spinny, tiny bit off the heel, but I hit down on the ball enough that the ball has traveled and I'm not in any danger. I've eradicated the really bad shot, which is very, very easy to do. So be careful of how you're trying to hit this shot. If this is not the shot for you, do not persevere with it, because you're better off just changing the club. And if you've got a slower swing speed, one of the things you have to do is get the ball airborne. So you will actually probably hit a 5-wood further than the 3-wood, because it's more in the air for a little bit longer. Albeit this could obviously run for a lot longer, but again, it depends on the type of golf course that you're playing as to whether you can have enough run. If you're like me and you're from the north of England, we don't have run because the ground's always wet. So that's not ideal. Guys, thanks very much for watching. I hope this tip has helped. The difference between playing the ball off the ground, playing the ball off the tee with a 3-wood, there are some very big differences in the way you have to hit the ball, so be aware of it. Please drop a comment below if you've got any questions. Also, please do hit that subscribe button as well. Everyone helps. There's 60% of the audience watching the videos don't subscribe, so it would make a massive, massive difference to me if you really could do that. And from this glorious, glorious view, I'll see you again very soon.